Okay, we are live now. Um, we're just gonna wait for 1 second. So the thing is always slower compared to like 1 minute slower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, 10 minutes later, anyways. But yeah, did you mind me
Yeah,
like
10 minutes later,
picturing
anyways. But
that
yeah.
10 minutes into our schedule time? No, like we're supposed to like end by 50 minutes. Can I like it should
Oh
just
yeah,
still yeah
that's
strictly
fine.
50 minutes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can see it now. Like I'm live on my channel. Check if you're live. Okay, so this is where you have two YouTubers live together. Okay. Good day, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. We are so sorry we are late today. Okay, yeah, it's just for the best. Finally, we got to do what we're trying to do. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a few minutes, couple of minutes for people to join us before we get started. All right. Just a couple of seconds, then let me see how many people is live here. Okay. Okay, because we are late already, so I think we're going to start. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening once again, everyone. You are welcome to today's live session. For those that are just joining us for the first time, my name is Mide Mercy. And as you guys know, what we always do here, we bring experienced scholars that are studying abroad to come share their experience. And we get to ask them questions. I ask them questions. You guys to also ask questions and we learn from their experience. So I would also appreciate if you can share this link to your social media, WhatsApp. Let people know that we are live. Okay, before we go get started. And so many times people be like STEM. Is it only science that are funded? Is it only like there is no funding for her? There is no funding for non-STEM. But yeah, I'm here to prove you wrong today for the fact that we have a study abroad scholar here. Like she is a graduate student here in the United States, and she will be our guest for today. And it's my pleasure to have my namesake, a fellow grad student, on the live session. Yeah, Olamide. So yes, I'm going to let her introduce herself. So Olamide, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. It's so nice to be here today. Like she said, my name is Olamide Ogundare, and I have a Master's of Arts degree in linguistics from the University of Utah. And yeah, it's so nice to come talk about my experience today. Thank you so much for inviting me, Olamide.
Thank you so much. Thank you for honoring our invitation as well. We really appreciate you. Okay, um, I'm going to let people drop something in the comment section. I don't think we have people watching us. If you can see us, please just drop where you're watching us from. Just say something. Hello, hi, how are you? Let's know that we have people here with us today. I'll be waiting. Okay, guys. Please, if you can hear me, just drop where you're watching us from. Just say hi, so I know that we're not just speaking to the atmosphere. Okay, thank you, Nifemi. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now I know that people can hear us. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Okay, all right. So, yeah, Olamide, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for willing to be our guest. To start with, I would like you to just we know you're studying in like you are a study abroad grad student, but can you like share about your experience back in Africa, maybe a little background of what you studied before we get
Oh, okay.
into it.
So I am from Nigeria, Ibadan. I live my whole life in Ibadan. So I attended the University of Ibadan. I have a
Oh,
bachelor's degree in linguistics, bachelor's of arts degree in linguistics. And afterwards, after my NYSC, I decided to pursue a master's in cultural and media studies from the Institute of African Studies, again, University of Ibadan. And after my master's, I was hoping to do a PhD in communications.
wow.
Yeah, but as fate will have it, I found myself in linguistics and I like another master's in linguistics, and I really loved it.
Wow, wow. So yeah, I don't want to go so much. Like linguistic is like that's to do with so much of English language, right? Like
Oh
language.
yeah, so I get a lot of misconception about linguistics. So linguistics is about studying the language structure and patterns. So linguistics is not about speaking different languages. It's not about you being a polyglot as a linguist, but what you do as a linguist is you could just pick a language, study their patterns, maybe semantics. You want to study like different variations of meaning, and we do a lot of field work also in linguistics. You go to the field. When I was at the University of Badon, we went to Delta State. We There was a variant that was Olokomi. It's like an endangered language
Wow.
related to Yoruba. So these are some of the things we do in linguistics. We look for languages that are like endangered or interesting patterns in languages. Then we study them. We don't necessarily know how to speak those languages most of the times. We
Oh,
don't know how to speak the language. We just go there, study the language, come up with data, and then we present our analysis.
oh, interesting. That sounds cool.
Yeah,
My God, there's a lot of different kind of research going on in worldwide.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So like what actually inspired you to pursue a master's in arts in the US? Because so many times people don't really know like there is opportunity. Like how did you come across that? Like what is the motivation behind you deciding to go for your master's in the United States? Yeah.
Funny enough, the US was not my first option.
Really? That
Yeah, it
is
was my
wow.
first option because what happened was I've heard a lot of people getting funded in the US, and I'm like, I don't know book that much. I don't have a first class, so how would they want to like fund me for a master's or like a PhD when there are other people that have first class that you could have paid your
Hmm.
attention to? So what I did was I was looking for schools in UK. I actually applied to a lot of masters in UK. I was looking for masters in Europe, like Italy, France, even PhD. So what happened was, so there was this particular day I went to school after I finished my masters in cultural and media studies. So I think I went to collect my transcripts. Then I met one of our seniors. I would say seniors. He finished masters in linguistics. So I was in my bachelor's when he was doing his masters in linguistics. And they were like, why don't you then he asked for my plans after my master's. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm looking for PhD in Italy, France, UK. Like, why not the US? And I'm like, don't really know book like that. They won't fund you. Like, who told you they won't fund you? Then he was actually the one that pushed, like, not like pushed, like, it was the one that actually brought it to my attention. I could try the US. Then he gave me examples of people who
Wow.
didn't have a first class and they got funded. And what he asked me to do was I should go to West evaluation, like West platform, and I should impute my CGPA all up from 100 level to 400 level. And if I have over 3.04 slash 4.0, I should apply. Then the first thing I did when I got home was to bring up my transcript and to do that. Then I had 3.0 and I was like, yeah.
Wow.
Then
Wow.
I applied to that was when I started applying. So he
Wow.
introduced me to somebody that was already in the US. He was also doing his PhD in the US, but he came to Nigeria for like I think for like a field linguistic kind of thing. So and he was busy, so he referred me to somebody else, and that person actually like walked me through
Yeah.
how to apply and all of this. So that was actually happened, and that was like my first time trying to apply to the US.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it was just like, yeah, it's time.
That's interesting. I think a lesson to learn from your story, like just now, is that first thing is that you got the information. Like
Mhm.
many times, information is very, very important, and you
Absolutely.
put in the action. Like immediately you were told you went to check your worth. And to people that they think it's just only first class that gets funding, no, that's not true. So you can see she wanted that to discourage her, but thank God for the senior that actually like let her know that, oh yes, you can do this without, it's not even once you have a first class. So far you have the GPA requirement.
Yeah.
Right, that's cool. So now talking about the linguistics, how did you find? I know you said somebody walked you through,
Mhm.
but like, can you briefly share how you found, like, how did you find schools and programs that they offered funding for your non-STEM for the program?
Okay, for this course. Okay, so like I said earlier, the funny thing was I wasn't actually aiming to study linguistics. I
Okay.
wanted to study PhD in communications because I was hoping to pivot from linguistics to culture and media studies. And then so at most of the schools I was checking was just PhD communications. So what happened was the day I met my senior, there was another of my colleague, we studied linguistics together. And she was there, she was like, I think she said something like, "What if you see a master's program? Would you do it?" I'm like, "Why won't I do a second master's?" Do you understand? Because I already had the first master. Like, why won't I do a second master's? And she's like, "Wow, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do a second master's if it gets me to where I'm going to get a PhD ticket." So I think the next 2 days, she saw an ad on Twitter
Oh,
about a professor needing students in linguistics.
wow.
They needed master's students in linguistics, and I'm like, yeah, because and then I checked the school. It was like the linguistics was really, really interesting. Don't get me wrong, I love linguistics. I was just like hoping to pivot because again, because linguistics was already tilting towards computational linguistics. And I didn't have like enough back like I don't have enough computer science background. So I'm like, let me just switch to something else that I feel like my linguistics background would be okay with. And that was I was hoping to move to communications. And because I already did culture and media studies, I was like, oh yeah, I have something to leverage on. But when I saw that ad, I was like, wow, this looks so interesting. So they were looking for students. You would do different researches. I went to go and check that website and I loved it. So I reached out to the professor. And funny enough, I sent a cold email. We did back and forth and all of this. But funny enough, that was the only school I applied to for linguistics. And that was the only school that gave me an admission.
Wow.
So all my PhD in communications, nothing.
Wow.
So it was
Can you see that? Sorry to
it
cut
was
you.
so
Can you see
funny.
that?
So like again, like you said, information. So my friend asked me, like, do you think you will do a second master? Like, yeah, I'm gonna do a second master's. It's not gonna stop me from getting to where I'm going to. So if she didn't ask me that question, or if I answered her in a way that she wouldn't have probably told me about it. And because she knows the journey I was working on, and she was willing to share with me.
Wow. Interesting. That sounds cool. So now the power of people that when sometimes when they share flyers, I belong to some groups where they share flyers, and I'm
Mhm.
always like, do people really like go through this flyers and do they like make use of it? But I think the last session we had, the scholar was like, oh, he actually got his funding offer through all these advertisements
Mhm.
offers, and that was how he got to Canada. And same thing too. You just mentioned that you saw the. So I think that's I would start encouraging people to take that thing serious
Yeah,
because me
start going to
myself,
LinkedIn,
I'm
Twitter.
wow.
There are a lot of people there looking for students.
Wow, interesting. I want to believe people are listening to us right now. And yes, you can, yeah. She's saying that you have to like take advantage of these flyers, advert positions, professors
Mhm.
looking for students. Yeah. But if I may ask you, what do you think actually made your application? What made you stand out? You might not know, but do you have any insight of what?
Honestly, honestly, I don't know.
Because I
Okay,
don't think
so
you'll be the only one that sent the message to the professor, or could you?
no.
Mhm.
Okay, so funny enough, when we got here, so
Yeah,
we are two Nigerians in my cohort.
yeah.
So we're like the only two Nigerians. So when we got here, it was like a class of five.
Wow.
Yeah, just my cohorts were just like class of 5 or 6. I think we were five. And I was like, maybe a lot of people didn't apply. That was why they
Oh.
just picked me. Do you understand? And she told me because she attended the graduate session. So
Oh.
I didn't attend the graduate session because I didn't know about it on time. Do you understand? So she
Yeah.
attended the graduate session, and she said there were like a lot of Nigerians there. Because I was thinking we're the only two Nigerians that applied, and they just decided to give it to us again. Because I was like, why would they give me? Do you understand? Why would they give me this opportunity? And she was like, no, they had a lot of people that applied. Like when she joined the graduate session, she saw like almost 50 Nigerians. And even the professors told us that like they receive countless emails from Nigerians, not just from Nigeria, like from different countries. Like so, I'm that competitive. Honestly, I don't know what I did right because I feel like there are a lot of people that that like applied. But I think another thing that would probably have helped was because I have background in linguistics and one too because the people I identified that I wanted to work with, they are people that we have like similar research interest. Because in Nigeria, I did field linguistics. And so field linguistics, we went to the field, we went to Delta State, collected data and analyzed using like morphological
Mm.
method. So when I was applying to the JUTA, I was trying to pivot to syntax semantics, and there were professors that actually did syntax semantics, and they were like really interested in learning more
Okay.
about our what's it called now, like African languages. So that I think that maybe that's another thing, but really like something I did different from another person. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, that sounds interesting. I'm gonna say get research experience. Research experience is very,
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
probably that was what gave you leverage, but you never can tell what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay, now moving to the next question I have for you. And to the viewers, if you guys have any questions, just drop it in the comment section. You're gonna like come back to questions. So can you let's talk about the application requirement.
Okay.
I understand that for STEM, we always ask you for stable purpose, recommendation letter. Is it the same thing for your masters in art as well? Like the
Yes.
application requirement?
Yeah, so we have statement of purpose, letter recommendations, your transcripts, depending on the school. Some people ask for official and non-official.
Yeah.
And one thing I've realized is that some official transcripts, some people just needed that stamp. Like for instance, I graduated from UI. So if UI wants to give you your transcripts, they stamp it with university seal or something. I think for some people that counts as official
Yes.
transcript.
Yes.
So you might want to like check with the schools you're applying to be sure which one counts. So yeah, and then we have your some departments or some schools asking for GRE, but
Okay.
not all of them, but some of them ask for GRE. I think those are like the writing samples.
Okay, yeah. So I want to talk about the writing
The
samples.
writing
So
samples.
did you have to write writing samples?
Yes, but I used my bachelor's writing sample because my bachelor's thesis.
This
It's not
is
called thesis, project.
project, yeah.
So after you're doing a project, and so that was what I used as my writing sample. I just submitted that.
Wow.
But I would advise you now that you should have like a paper, like maybe like you can like flesh it out as a paper, something that is very, very because some schools want just 15 pages.
Mm.
And my transcript and my bachelor was like 60 pages.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So some people so depending on the requirements of your school, some people just want like 15 pages. So you want to also check with the school to be sure that the pages are in limit.
Oh, interesting. Probably if we have time, I'm going to come back to that writing sample.
Okay.
I've got a lot of questions about writing sample. We come back to that later. So
Okay.
now talking about the funding, this team, do you guys get to have like teaching assistantship or research assistantship or as a graduate
Uh,
assistantship?
yeah, I was a teaching assistant.
Oh,
I
cool.
worked as a teaching assistant all through my 4 semesters.
Wow, nice, interesting. But it's like, and it covered your tuition and
Yes.
now,
It's over my tuition, health insurance, stipend.
wow,
What?
even health insurance. That's a good
Yeah.
offer.
Stipend and what else? Yeah, I think that was it. Mhm.
Nice, nice. So, you guys, it is very much possible for you to get a fully funded offer
Yeah.
for a non-STEM program. Okay. And now, for prospective students that they are trying to like get scholarship or assistantship, where do you think, we know we already talked about it, but let's just go through that again. Where do you think they can look out for these opportunities?
Honestly, you want to start from the schools you're applying to. So, for instance, if your target is again University of Utah, if your target is University of Utah, you want to go to their website.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to the website, reach out to the graduate coordinator, ask them questions like, "Oh, you are open to apply to this department. Do they have scholarship?" Because not all departments have funding, not
Mm.
all of them.
Yes.
I've come to realize that
Yeah.
people like MB, not in all schools, but some schools do have scholarships. But you want to ask if they have scholarships, what are the requirements, and all of this questions. I would say reach out to private coordinators in the schools that yeah. I think what people don't want to do is to do the research.
Yes. We just
They
want to get the offer.
don't want
Yeah.
to do the research. When I was applying, I had like a whole book dedicated to applying to school. So like the first few pages were all the schools that are doing linguistics,
Mm.
all the schools in the US are doing linguistics. And then the flip side was like the schools that have the research interest. Again, I'm just trying to give you an example because again, I didn't do linguistics. I thought I was aiming for communication. So like the research interest I wanted to do. So these are like how I would. So you want to do the research, and afterwards, you also want to check LinkedIn.
Indeed.
Professors are on LinkedIn. I still saw one yesterday. They they are looking for what's it called now, students, even for fall 2025. They are looking for students. You want to check Twitter, just type in, it's just the keywords that matter. Just type in maybe like Paris opportunity, and I'm sure you definitely find. So that's like the two this thing I'll advise you to do. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So, I, I want to believe people are listening, and for those that are not here, they can always like watch and gain information. Anybody that asks me a question about, I'm just gonna say, "Oh, come and watch."
Okay.
This thing. So yes, talking about the most times people are always like fretting. It's not possible. It's not. Or before I move into that, like, are there like any challenges you faced when you were trying to apply for your? Yeah, can you discuss some of those
The
challenges?
first one was application fees.
Oh, application fee. Yeah.
I mean, the first one was application fee because converting dollars to naira is crazy. But
Mm.
the interesting thing was all the schools I applied to was off. I got waiver.
Really, even where you got offer? Wow.
I got waiver. I don't know if they still do that because right now schools are like cutting down on waiver. But when I applied to
I think that might be COVID.
anything, I got waived for it. So I think that was like one of the most challenging thing because I was doing gymnastic, like calculating. That time I think Naira was 500. So I can't remember. So I was doing gymnastic, like so. Yeah, and I wasn't really. I don't really have enough money to like. But when I applied to just the schools that give me fee waivers. Those are like all the schools I think about. I think right now schools are removing fee waivers. They don't even want to. I have a friend that she said, "Oh, she's going through, and they told her to go and borrow from her family." Trying not to give you waiver. I think another challenge I think maybe I experienced was writing the statement of purpose, defining my research interest.
Mm.
Like I told you earlier, my senior recommended me to somebody else that worked me through. And so when I wrote my statement of it gave me statement of purpose as a sample.
Mhm.
I wrote it and I was like, what is and then he asked me, what is your research interest? I'm like, what do you mean my research interest? I want to do linguistics. I want to do semantics and syntax. I mean, that was when I was writing for this particular because he was also a linguistics PhD student. So that
Mhm.
was really helpful. So like, so what exactly do you want to go and do in that linguistics? And like, actually, it's just going to do linguistics. What the like? So in the syntax and semantics, what are the topics you want to do? Like, what they are doing there? It was really hard for me to actually define what my research interest was because I'm like,
Yeah.
we don't have research interest. Like, there's nothing like I don't know if they do now, but when I was in Nigeria, it's like you want to do
Yep.
morphology or syntax or social linguistics, those are like areas in linguistics. So that was what I thought were research interest. Then later I realized that oh maybe naming patterns, meaning semantics, stuff like that, lambda. That's when I know the actual research interest. So I think those are like the two things because it took me like we were just doing back and forth because we were like you didn't put everything like what is research interest. So I think those are like the things I feel like I struggled with, and then getting recommendation letters. Gosh, like Yeah, so recommendation letter. I wish they would give us admission before they ask us for recommendation letter.
No, they won't.
Because asking professors to write you letters, because there are times when maybe for instance this circle, maybe you didn't get in, and then the next circle, you would be ashamed to go and ask the same
Again.
professors for writing sample because in the first time you didn't get it. So why do they have to write another one? So I feel like writing I'm sorry, I feel like recommendation letter was something that was also crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
really crazy because I have to be calling my professors, sending them messages. At some point, I didn't even care again. So far, like I was always messaging every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like that.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that with us. Not everybody is willing to share. And now, based on this experience you've gone through, like, what advice would you give to people that are facing the same challenges currently right now? People that are going through this issue of, yeah, getting the type recommendation, or yeah, they struggle to write in writing their statement of purpose. What advice would you give to them?
So let me start from application fee waiver. I feel like application fee waiver is a necessary evil right now. Like it's something you have to do,
Yeah.
but honestly, it's not convenient. I know, but it's something you have to pay for. That's one. And two, one thing that helped me during my recommendation letter was because I have professors I was friends with. Well, I say friends, like we are very, very close when I was at UI. So I can just call them. Like I have a professor that if I call him today that I need a recommendation letter before today ends, he's gonna submit it.
Mm-hmm.
Having good relationship with your professors really helps. Really, like it really helped me because I don't have a relationship. Don't get me wrong. Maybe like I don't have a relationship with all of them, but
Yeah.
if you have like with like two of them, at least two, you've already so you just look for one person to fill in the gap.
Mm.
So like having good relationship with your professor is really gonna help you, not even for grad school application in every phase of your life, because you would always need recommendation letter. So having good rapport with your professors, like your lecturers. I know there are some lecturers that they don't even want you to even look at their faces. Look for other professors you feel like you can be friends with. And then another thing is one thing I realized is you don't have to use academic all through depending on the this thing. So what I will also advise you is if your recommendation letter wants 3 people, please enter 4 or 5 people's name. Yeah, sure that out of those 5 people, at least three would enter their recommendation letter on time. So that's another thing I would advise you to do. Yeah.
Okay.
What
Thank you
else?
for
And then
sharing.
defining your research interest. So defining your research interest really has to do with your research background. And for instance, so somebody in linguistics, my research area, let's assume my research area is sociolinguistics. So my research interest could be maybe cybercrime, looking at cybercrime researches, feminism in the society. These are like research interests. So there's a difference between your research area and research interest. So what I would advise you to is to read people's paper, look at your own research, look at how like the kind of things you're interested in. Are you interested in media representations? Are you interested in linguistics analysis of maybe President Tinubu's research? Maybe it's pragmatic analysis you're interested in. Look at all of these things, and that is how you get informed of the kind of research interest that you like. And then this will help you to like identify the professors you want to work with in the universities you're applying to. I think
Okay.
that answers it. Yeah.
That's a very great insight. Thank you for sharing that with
Yeah,
us.
you're welcome.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. So now we've talked about the challenges. Maybe this is also going to be a challenge. But like, what are the mistakes that you probably made that you would advise prospective grad students what they should avoid, mistakes they should avoid in their pursuit of getting a credit for a scholarship? It might not be what you made, or probably general mistakes they should avoid. What you think? Don't do this. Don't do this. Yeah.
Okay, so I think one of the not like I mean because I the presumptions I had was like, oh, they only fund first class students.
Mm.
Because whenever I'm on social, oh, I'm graduating first class, I'm studying, and I'm like, okay, good to see, good to see. So I didn't even see myself in that category of people that would say, oh, my masters could be funded. So I would not say that don't my advice would be like, don't disqualify yourself even before applying. Apply first, and
Mm,
then let them tell you you don't qualify, and then you work on ways that
very good.
you can meet what they want, because sometimes it might not even be your degree, maybe your 2221 or whatever. It could be something else that they needed. Do you
Mm,
understand? So that's the first. Another thing is, I've heard people saying, "Oh, until they get what they want before." It's like when we're in Nigeria, people that wants to study medicine. If they give them biochemistry, they'll say no until they see that medicine they want to go and study. The next year they give them pharmacy, they say no. It's until they get the medicine, like medicine and surgery. So what I'm trying to say is like, if you know that your destination is PhD and you're already done masters in Nigeria, like I did, and you saw an offer for a master's, take it. You're not gonna die.
yeah,
I've done my 2 years masters. I'm done with it.
yeah,
And then because you know where you're going to, it's just a fate.
yeah.
And then I feel like the masters I did really actually helped me, in the sense that I got to learn about studying in the US, because the university classroom in the US is so different from the ones in
Mhm.
Nigeria. In the US, it's so close knitted. Like I said, we're five, and they want people to come to class to talk. You have to say something. You have to like be able to, even if it doesn't have to be right. If
Yes,
it's
you
wrong,
have
if
to.
you say the wrong thing, they will even clap for you if you say the wrong thing. But they just need you to say something. And then again, like you'll be able to like schedule your time, work, like you know how to build network collaborations. So like those are the things I would advise you to do. Like, don't say until you get a PhD in whatever before you take up the chance. Just anyone you have, just do it, and then start working on the next one. I think that's one of the things I've heard. And another thing is, people think that, oh, once you are here, you are automatic, like, another thing I've heard is like first class, like tutor in Nigeria is first class in the abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived. You will read and you will read.
You would read, you can't avoid, you can't just say you would not read. You will read.
So I think so, like, so those are like some of the misconceptions and mistakes that people make. So when they get here, they feel like, oh, they look for their way. They're gonna get, they have a first class in Nigeria. Yes, so how would they come here and feel? I'm sorry. You'll be surprised. Like, so you'll be surprised. I think those are like the three mistakes or three like misconceptions I've seen people had, especially when they get to the US, thinking that once they get here, they will clear. They've been writing papers in Nigeria, they've been publishing, blah blah blah.
You'll be humbled.
I mean, congratulations. But when you get here, it's a different ball game entirely. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's so profound. Like, I believe we are listening. Okay, I can see the comment. These are you guys still here with us? Okay, I can see the comment. I'm coming back to your question, turning grades. Just a few more minutes, then we're going to start taking questions from the audience. So you already like talked about something I was going to like go into next, and that was like this experience so far, this studying abroad experience. How has it shaped your academic or professional journey? Like any tips that you want to share with us? Like,
Honestly, I
yeah,
think it has helped me a lot.
yeah.
Again, my background in UI, if you studied in Nigeria, trust me, you are 50% A over comma. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing well for yourself. So one thing I've learned, especially my background in Nigeria, is like we don't give up.
Mm.
So even if, because there are courses situations whereby even in my first few months in the US, I was
You
like,
almost gave up.
I don't think I can do this again.
Sorry about that.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. I think it happens to almost everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, I don't think I can do this again. I'm not sure. Let me just stand up. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I think this is better. Yeah. I don't think I can do this again. I think I'm done. But I remember where I was coming from, and I remember where I am going to. And I'm
Mm.
like, no, you can't give up now. So I think that Nigerian background, like there's this resilience that you just get from nowhere. No, nobody gives it to you. You just have it. is like a hard life skill that you just pick up on the way. So I think those are some of the things that has helped me. Another thing is when you are in a field and you see people, like, for instance, I see my professors, I see
Mhm.
what they are doing. They go to conferences, they get grants, they work in the academic session. They also like work outside the classroom. Some of them are consultants. Don't get me wrong, we have all of this too in Nigeria, but
Yeah.
there's a relief, like you are in a new environment and you are seeing people in places where you see yourself in the next 5 years. It gives you this, yeah, I can do this too.
Yeah.
You don't have 10 heads. I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
And then again, you have like there are career coaches, there are people that are walking you through the journey. There are tons of resources for you,
Yes.
tons of it. So these are the things that's really, really helped me in my academic journey. And when I talk to people, and another thing that's also helped me is the fact that when I was talking earlier in the classroom, they don't expect you to know everything. And even if you don't get it wrong, they don't shame. So something happened when I first came in as a credit student in my first syntax class. In my first syntax class. So in UI we use, if you're a linguistic person, you probably understand. We use TGG, PSG, all of those things. So the professor gave us, so when I first came into the class, I was intimidated because I was like,
Mhm.
all of these people, they probably know all of these things than I do. Then the
Mhm.
professor gave us a marker and asked all of us to like draw a deep structure of a sentence. Do you know that none of us did the right thing?
Wow. So you're on the same page.
We were wrong. No, don't get me wrong. We like the professor wanted us to do something and we didn't do what he expected us to do. And like that was the day I clapped for myself. Yes, you're in the right room.
Mhm.
So what I'm trying to say is like I from there I was able to build my confidence. All of us are here to learn. Nobody knows it more than the other person.
Yeah.
So and that's another thing, collaboration. It's not a competitive environment in Nigeria. Oh, you want to have a first class, you want to be on the 4.0152. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Everybody can be on a 4.0 here and
Yeah.
everybody's fine. Nobody's going to eat your mark. So that's another thing that's really helped. So you want to build collaboration, especially among your peers. Because when you first come, you'll be like, oh, I don't want to show this person my assignment. But at the end of the day, even the professors want you to do it together before you come to them to ask questions. So I think these are like some of the things that has really helped me during my grad school. And yeah, it's been really helpful so far.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's profound. Okay, we're almost ending the my own question and answer. I have like 2 to 3 questions here.
Okay.
If we still have time, I would go through the three. But yeah, so now for people that they're probably in Africa right now and they're
Mhm.
doubting themselves, like they want to get this they're doubting if they can get this funding for their program. It's non-STEM, okay? They have this stereotype that is only non it's only STEM that is funded. What's Can you please give them probably a motivation or a ginger to just
Yeah.
yeah.
So about funding, I've actually had somebody reach out to me. She was like, Olamide, I heard that they give people funding. Is this true? I said, yes, ma. And she was like, and you don't have to pay back. I'm like, no, you don't pay back. You are paying back with your TARA. I'm like, wow. So when I'm done with my grad school, I don't owe them anything. I said, no, you don't owe them anything. So you
Mhm.
don't owe them anything. It's just a way of them fund because they actually need you.
Yeah.
They need your research, they need your expertise, they need your expertise. Like if you're going to be like a teaching assistant, they need you
Contribute.
to come to class, come teach, come assist professors. Research assistant, they need you to come and work in the labs, work on papers, work as a Harry. So it's not like you're not doing these things for free. Don't think you're doing it for free. No, it's not for free in the sense that like it's like when you hire someone for a job and they have the qualities of the things that you need. Do you have backgrounds in linguistics? Yes, she does. Does she has research interest? Yes, she does. So she's gonna come enhance our program, and in turn, we are gonna like fund our tuition. It's a what's it called now? It's a two-way thing. You also need the experience. You understand? You need the experience. You need the tuition waiver to come study, and then you come here. But don't get me wrong, the stipend is just for you to not die.
To
Just to
pay.
make
Yeah,
you rich. At
yeah.
least you're paying rent, you're eating, you good. So what I'm trying to say is like, don't give up. Like there are a lot of opportunities in non-STEM. I am in non-STEM. I've seen like a lot of people in non-STEM that are funding communications, linguistics, sociology, thousands of people that are in non-STEM that are getting funded every year. So don't think it's just. I mean, I used to feel. Don't get me wrong. I don't like STEM people.
Because they
I don't
are.
like STEM people because they get more money than we do in some cases. And again, because STEM is people feel like STEM is very applicable to every walk of life, which is nice. Arts and humanities are also very applicable. It's just like if you're not in this field, you will not understand
Yeah.
what is actually going through. So we need STEM people, but they need us more than they need STEM people, but they don't know. They don't know that yet. So we need to show them that. So trust me, there are a lot of opportunities in non-STEM. Don't again, like I said, don't disqualify yourself even before applying. Reach out to people, but before you apply, you want to reach out to departments because not all departments actually fund students. Not all of them. There are some. There was a linguistics program I wanted to apply to when I was applying for my PhD, and they said in their first year they don't fund students, but they are going to fund you in your second year. So in these situations, you can like there are like other centers in the universities, maybe like centers of African studies, centers of this that can fund you for your first year. So also like don't limit your funding just to the department. There are other centers in the universities that can also fund you maybe for like their first year. I have someone that all through his 4 years, his department did not fund him.
Wow.
It was another center, like a center for African studies, something like that, that funded him for the first year. So they were paying for institution, they were paying for stipend, and he was just getting education in this department. That department didn't pay, like they didn't fund him. So don't restrict. What I'm trying to say is like if you apply, you didn't get funding, it's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Check out for other departments. Maybe you did linguistics again, linguistics. You could check English department,
Yeah.
communications department, other departments in schools. They might need a TA, and they will just fund you for your tuition and all of this, and then you work for them with a T or a GA. There are also like GA, like graduate assistant. Those ones they do administrative positions. So don't restrict your funding just to the department. You want to check with your department if they fund you, yes. But if you get admission and you're not funded, please check with other departments on campus. Make sure you like what's it called now? You don't give up. Oh, you didn't get funded, and then you say, oh yeah, they did not fund me. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to like go through. You have to walk through the whole school. Reach out to anybody you can reach out to in the department, and I'm sure. I mean, sorry, in the university, and I'm sure something will come up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
Yes, I'm not going to repeat what you said, but please, guys, explore opportunities. Just like you said, don't give up. Okay, thank you. I will now start entertaining questions from the audience. Today is Thursday, and I want to believe it's a public holiday in Nigeria. So
Mhm.
that's why we actually scheduled this, but I don't know. A lot of people did. And they were like, oh, we need non-STEM, we need non-STEM, we need non-STEM. Yeah, but
They
that's
probably
fine.
went out.
Yeah, maybe. But we have a question here from Tony. He said, I finished with 3.5 in mass communication. I want to go for MA. Please, what can you advise? Internship said.
Like, I don't know what your question is exactly, but if you're asking me if your CGPA is enough, yeah, your CGPA is enough, but it's not like the only deciding factor. They have to see your research interest. So, how many labs or how many papers have you collaborated with? All your research. So, like, it's not enough to have research experience, honestly.
Mhm.
It's how you can apply it to other things. It's maybe, for instance, you've done countless of, but what are like what can we, like, what is the result of this? Oh, yeah, you presented your research in a conference, or you went to the community to do like an intervention, or you turned it into a research paper. So, I think these are like some of the things that experiences you might need to highlight. And another thing would be like your writing sample. So what kind of writing sample are you submitting? Um, yeah, it's not enough. Like your CGPA is good, it's very great. Don't get me wrong, but we need to see something else. And trust me, I don't have communication background, but I think there is a difference between mass comm and communication studies in my own little knowledge. I think mass communication has to do with journalism, advertising, PR, public relations. But I think communication study has to be more of like media studies, media representations, and all of these things. So you want to show how, I mean, I know they're kind of related, but again, you would want to like show how your background in mass communication will be effective for your masters in communication studies. I
Exactly.
hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it
So
makes sense. So
besides-
that's it. To be able to link what you've done to what you want to do.
yes,
Yeah, very
yes.
good. Yeah, so now let's go back to that writing sample. Yes. I have not had an like the opportunity to like probably writing samples before. I don't even know what it is like.
Wow.
Yes, yes. All I know is research proposal, statement of purpose, and the rest. Yes, letter of intent, and
Mhm.
yeah. So, like, can you just brief us about this writing sample? And like, because so many times I don't know. I think it's basically it has to do with non-STEM, right?
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too. So research writing sample is just like a, just see it as your class paper
class paper.
for non-STEM. No, again, for non-STEM people. They want to talk
Okay.
to STEM. So maybe like for instance, after a class, they will ask you guys to do like a research paper, maybe group research paper, maybe like 5 people. They will give you a topic or you come up with a topic and then you present it in the class and all of these things. So if you have a lot of this, you can actually like take those papers, look it again personally. You know, you've done a group assignment. I'm just trying to give you like a faster way.
Yeah.
So you can just look at it again in another dimension, like, oh, so what else did we think? And then upgrade it. And like, I'm not saying you should plagiarize, don't get me wrong. Look at the
Like
topic again, look at how you can make it.
now I think I have an idea of what writing sample.
Mhm,
It's swing, not in STEM. Like you are going to like read, probably they give you a paper to read, then you
mhm.
like summarize it in your own words, right?
No, ma.
Okay,
So
what?
that could be, it depends. So again, don't get me wrong, it depends on the department that you're applying to. But most times in STEM, I'm sorry, in non-STEM, they want to see your writing abilities, your critical thinking. They want to see your writing thinking, analytical thinking, and all of these things they'll see it in your writing sample. So your writing sample is like a research paper. Let me just put it
Mhm.
like it's like a research paper that you do on your own. So if it's a cohort paper, some people, maybe like you've published it. Some people they might say maybe you've published before, and you don't have to have published it. It could be like maybe right now you are in a classroom of communications comp 310 or something like that, and they give you an assignment like a research and say, oh, write like, I'm trying to think of the like media representation of maybe health health communications. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to think of a topic off my head, but it's not coming. Okay, it's like media representation of HIV messages or something like that in a certain newspaper. So you want to like write this like there's an introduction, literature review section, your methodology, the theory that you used, and then data analysis and results, and then discussion. So in that format. So most times they will tell you that it doesn't have to be a published paper. It can be something that you did for a class. Yeah, that's right. It could be like a paper that you do for a class. Because when I was in my master's in linguistics, after each classes, you do like a paper at the end of the class that you can afterwards turn into a research publication or present at conferences. So
Wow.
these are the kind of things that I'm looking for, where you demonstrated your research expertise. It's not enough to say I have research experiences. They want to see how that research experiences has turned into something like a paper, and they want to see your analytical skills, your writing skills, academic writing skills, critical thinking. So I
Wow.
think that's what a research sample is. Don't get me wrong, it's not that complicated if you're a non-STEM. Non-STEM people trust me, we write paper like almost
Oh,
every
wow.
business
That's
this.
cool.
So yeah. And then sometimes it could also be what you're saying. What you're saying is more like a critical analysis. So for instance, you read a paper and then you have like some opinions about the paper and like a critical analysis. That could also be a research sample. So you could reach out to grad coordinator and tell them this is the kind of research sample that you have, writing sample that you have. But for me personally, again, I would advise make sure you have two writing sample, depending on what the department. Some department will just ask you for one, and that's it. But some department will ask you for they will just say, "Oh, miscellaneous. I want to add." Just add like two writing samples because if they read this one and it's not what they are looking for, trust me,
Maybe.
someone might be something they're looking for. So that's just it for me. But yeah, so writing sample is really, really important, especially for like non-STEM
Oh, nice.
people like us.
Thank you. That's interesting. Okay, me too. I'm learning. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, somebody is asking a question: is HND accepted?
I think again, this question is for graduate coordinators in the schools we are reaching
Yeah.
out to. I really don't know much about that, so I would say so. Like right now is like the time to start reaching out to professors or like graduate coordinators. If you have any questions, so start reaching out to the graduate coordinators. So they will be the one that will ask admissions, and then you can just send it to them to ask them questions. And one thing, please, I just remember this thing. If you want to write cold email, please, in the name of God, don't use generic cold emails.
Hmm.
Some of
Yeah.
you will just say, "Oh, hi, my name is Olamide. I'm applying for a master's in your department, in your prestigious universities."
Hmm.
I'm sorry, prestigious university. And I'm like, what
What's the name
department?
of the university?
What university? So it's so generic, and then you are so vague. Like, so do your research before you reach out to any professor or any graduate coordinator, so that they will see that you've done something before you even reach out to them.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's my friend having a matching learning class. Yeah, we are not talking about STEM. We are talking about STEM.
I mean, so
Not
machine
STEM.
learning is also something that is in linguistics.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why I told you that I wanted
Do
to
you
run
guys
away from
code?
linguistics.
You guys like do coding and programming?
So when I was doing my master's, I did Python. I did
Wow.
Python classes, but big master's level. But I have colleagues that did our statistical learning stuff like that. Even for my master's degree, I was doing statistical analysis. I was doing test theory for my
Wow.
master's, and it was so crazy. And I'm like, am I doing statistics or linguistics? So linguistics. So that's linguistics is. I mean, we want to call it science, but everybody says it's non-STEM.
STEM.
But if you look at the components of the things that we are doing, it's actually STEM.
Wow. Cool.
So yeah, so depending on your research interest again in linguistics, you will find yourself in machine learning stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And yes, thank you so much, Olamide. Thank you to everybody that has joined today's live session. I believe that is all the questions we have for today. Olamide has a YouTube channel. So
Oh
you
yeah.
guys should, yes, subscribe. Please, can you put the link in there or paste the
Okay.
name in the this thing? It's Mide Ogundari, right?
Yes, it is.
Type it. I can type. Okay, yeah, she has a YouTube channel. And yes, if you have any questions for her, you can reach out to her on LinkedIn. Olamide Ogundari. Yeah, she just pasted it.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
already sent it.
Yeah, sorry. Really, no. It's because you sent it, so it's sent together. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So guys, please subscribe to the channel. It's just a way of you saying thank you to her. She has really sacrificed that time to come and share her experience with you. Oh yeah, we are not paying her anything. We are not like we are not. It's not like I'm paying her.
Yeah,
So
which is
please,
good.
guys, thank you so much, Olambide, and thank you to everybody that has joined us. To end with, Olamide, what are you going to do you have anything? You have any advice you have for everybody watching this? Um,
Yeah, my advice again would be don't disqualify yourself before you
okay.
apply. Trust me, don't feel intimidated by people. I know we go on LinkedIn and we see people sharing their wins, which is nice, but don't let this make it look like you don't qualify because I've used my example because I've seen a lot of people they have first class, they have two, and I'm like,
Yeah.
don't have this thing. So don't disqualify yourself. Apply. And then if you apply the first time, don't let that discourage you. I've
Mhm.
had people that tried different, like me, this was my first time applying to the US and I got accepted, right? But there are times, I mean, I've applied to a lot of fellowships in the UK and I didn't get any of them. Do you
Wow.
understand? And that just stopped me from keep applying. So
Wow.
don't give up on your applications. Like maybe you applied the first four times and you're like, oh, maybe you don't, maybe this is not for you. Maybe God does not want you to leave Nigeria. Trust me, God wants you to pursue your academic journey.
Yeah.
If that is what you want, don't think don't think that you just want to Japan. No, please. Erase it from your mind. If you don't like academia, don't sit in Nigeria and be enjoying your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like one I would advise you is that maybe for instance, if you apply the first time and you don't get in and you don't get what the admission, go back, talk to people, let them review your application materials, let them tell you how you can improve on it. Maybe you need to write a GRE, maybe you need another writing sample, maybe you need to revise your statement of purpose, maybe you need to do something because if for somebody like me, this is what I do. If I do something the first time and I didn't get it, I go back, I take a step back, I revise all the things I could have done better, and I talk to people and they walk me through, and then I do it again. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just advice I would have for you. If grad school journey is draining, trust me, application process is the least of your worries.
Mhm.
When you come in, you'll still plenty worries. Don't worry. So yeah, that's just my advice for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Olamide, and thank you to everybody once
Thank you so much
again.
for inviting me.
Thank you for the invitation. So know what's left. She has said it all. Okay. And if you feel like this is not for maybe you're not here, it's 10%, please share it with people. Like let them people that can benefit, share it on your social media, share it on your WhatsApp and all. And yes, thank you so much. See you guys again in the next session. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Maybe you have to end it.